This week on the 50th episode of the iRacing Downshift. Greg works on his confidence.
I need to be more confident. That's what people tell me.
Kevin gives us his resume.
If you ever need to change the transmission in a rainy, muddy, mid-Ohio paddock, I'm your guy.
And Chris can't stop racing rallycross.
The little tiny road course layouts because I've never quite broken my rallycross habits.
All that and more, so strap in.
Welcome to the iRacing Downshift. I'm your host, Greg West. I'm back with the boys, Kevin Bobbitt and Chris Leone, for episode number 50.
Impressive.
Like Which
50.
way? Which way does it go? I don't know. We're on camera.
Who would have thought that we'd get to 50? I thought we'd maybe get to 2.
I thought Myers would have canceled us after 2 or 3.
He doesn't know we're doing this. Oh, wait, maybe he does.
Wait, maybe he does, because he is back on the show today.
But he thinks it's episode 3. He doesn't realize we've done 50.
What he doesn't know. Friend of the show, Executive Vice President of iRacing, Steve Myers, coming on today. He's going to talk about stuff that we usually can't talk about, and that he usually tells us what we can and where the line is, but now their responsibility's on him. So if something leaks, that's on him.
He'll have to yell at himself instead of us. So it's a good
That'd be a
change.
nice change of pace. But, all right, boys, what have we been up to? We have to hurry because Kevin has a hard stop. Kevin was late, actually.
I was late. I apologize. I was late. I was very late.
Kevin was late and then told us we had to hurry up. I want to be very clear on this.
What can I say?
That's what you get called out for on this one.
It's fair. You're not wrong. I was late. I apologize to you guys and the guys behind the scenes. Cisco and Drew are working hard to make us sound adequate, I guess. You know, they're doing their best to make us sound.
There's not much they can do about the looks.
Yeah, exactly.
I had to wear this ridiculous Hawaiian shirt just to pull attention, but I'm doing
Chris,
my best.
that's your regular Friday outfit.
Yeah. It looks good.
I like your button ups personally. I think they're great.
I've been doing casual Thursdays in the office.
I mean, we all dressed up, right? We got decent.
I'm wearing a t-shirt.
That's dressed up.
See, I figure that if I can make my shirts louder than my voice, then anything for personality.
Chris, you don't understand. We have production now. That's Cisco's job and Drew's job to make sure that your voice is the right.
No. I mean around the office when we're in on Thursdays. Yeah, I got you. Trying to pull focus. Yeah.
All right. So besides Kevin being late, Chris working on his wardrobe, what else have we been up to? Kevin's creeping on the neighbors.
They're digging up my neighbor's yard, installing fiber optics. But update from the last podcast. I've been enjoying my tractor. I've mowed the lawn like every other day for the last 3 weeks. So.
And you haven't burned it up yet?
Nope, not yet. Maybe not every other day, but certainly more frequently than I used to mow the lawn. So.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's nice. I've been getting ready for season 3. Pretty excited. Kevin and I will be talking about our battle royale that is the Ringmeister. It's kind of like the throw and go challenge brought back, only it's an official
but now
series
it's official.
in iRacing.
Yeah.
I've done 2 practice laps already, so I'm ready.
That's 2 more than me. I'm going to be honest. I think it's the Mercedes this week, the Mercedes GT3.
It's a great car. It sounds so good. It's awesome.
So, well, let's get into it. So we've had a build. These are always exciting podcasts because it's all the stuff we couldn't say before, but now we can say it without getting in trouble.
What so much stuff in it, huh?
Ton of stuff. I mean, 3 cars, 2 tracks, and a dirt refresh. It's almost like a Christmas song.
A country song. Tyler's gonna sing it to us.
Oh, yes. Bring him back on the podcast. Let's get right into it. We have the Cadillac V Series the Cadillac V Series R GTP.
You messed it up already.
I did mess it up.
You were this close, and you just didn't have the confidence to push through the corner.
You're right. I need to be more confident. That's what people tell me.
Yes.
Wow, I just really walked into that fence. Cadillac V Series R GTP. Super excited for the ever-growing GTP class on iRacing, and also debuting this weekend at the 6 hours of the Glen on iRacing. Actually, debuting in like 8 hours.
A few hours at this point, right?
Yeah, yes. But a great counterpart next to the BMW and the sound. I mean, we shouldn't even have shown it in the preview video, Kevin. We should have just played the audio.
It does sound pretty sweet.
So yeah, pretty excited about that. A lot of fun to drive. Ever-growing class in iRacing. We'll see where it goes from here. Also, with that, the addition of that car to our IMSA series. Notice we didn't take a car out. We actually grew the car count by 1. So we got 9 different car models in that series and this weekend at the Glen. So pretty excited about that. Next piece of content that is making debut, the Ligier LMP3 car, the Ligier JSP 320 LMP3. Very excited, highly requested, tons of memes. Kevin, you have some experience with this.
It's the newer version of the one right there, right?
Right there, the one that's on screen?
Yeah. So, no, LMP3 car, obviously, I've worked for a team for a few years. We had pretty good success in the older version of that car, but it's a super fun car to drive. I've been seeing a lot of people streaming it on Twitch. Seems to be very well received. Kind of just a fun car to drive, right? It's got enough downforce, enough power. It's not super crazy, but it's a fun car. So I think we're going to see a lot of participation in that series.
It's also sounding really good with the Nissan V8 in the back of it. Aussie Greg Hill and the entire sound staff killing it.
If you ever need to change the transmission in a rainy, muddy mid-Ohio paddock, I'm your guy. I've done that, so let me know.
Also, you've gone viral fueling the thing.
Oh yeah. I'm raking in the bucks on my YouTube video, so I think I'm up to $360 earned. So almost.
You got 1 million views, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
We should check the view count on that.
It pays for the car numerous times over.
Yeah.
But so not 1, not 2, but 3 cars as well. So we also have the Porsche 911 GT3R 992. So it's the next edition, the current edition of this car. And Kevin's a Porsche fanboy. Let's be honest. He loves Porsche.
I do. And
that's not a negative. It's a very positive.
Well, I appreciate that. But
I'm going to
hush and
talk about it.
What do you want me to say? It sounds great. It drives like a Porsche. It's the current chassis. So it's what you see racing all around the world in GT3, GTD. It is also at Watkins Glen this weekend in iRacing, right? So
yes.
Right? And where else are we going to see it? You and I are going to get to race it later this season in the Ringmeister series that we are participating in NIM's Staff Challenge series or whatever we call that. So it'll be fun to see which one of us. We'll have to come back and revisit that and see who has earned more points that week. So
you're going to absolutely destroy me. You are the place you are significantly better than me on iRacing.
The only track I can beat Greg on, which is really weird.
You destroy me on the ring. So yeah, if you haven't signed or haven't looked at the Ringmeister series, do it because it's fun. 12 weeks at the ring, 12 different cars, pretty decent variety across GT3, GT4 touring cars. There's even an open wheeler with the Formula, the FF 1600 is in there as well. So yeah, we're pretty excited about that.
If you see me racing there, if you happen to be in the split with me,
you
will notice that I have a new paint job because Trading Paints is updated and they added some awesome sponsors, West and Bobbitt Garage. So West Engines,
West Engineering.
Well, I thought it was engines. It's engineering.
Is it West Engines?
I don't know.
Your
company.
Lavender sent me a text. Now I got to look it up. I'm going to do it right now. By the way, our email's blowing up with stuff we need to respond to right now, Kevin.
Let's talk faster then. So,
yeah, we got messages from a friend of the show and probably a guest we should bring on sometime. Steve Lavender from Trading Paints. They did a really cool project with their software for painting cars. And yeah, there's Greg Hill has a sponsorship. Yeah. You've got one. I've got one. Tony has Tony's Garage or something like that. It's pretty entertaining.
But more importantly, the painting tool is significantly upgraded and it's really cool. So check it out.
So we did more than just cars though. We got tracks and Chris is going to talk about them because he can pronounce them.
Let's start
with Aragon.
Yeah, Motorland Aragon, another Spanish track. We've had a few of those make their way into the service over the past few years. But Aragon, 7 different configurations, which for somebody like me who likes to run the little tiny road course layouts because I've never quite broken my rallycross habits, that is a godsend. I mean, you've got your touring car layouts, you've got your Grand Prix layouts, your moto layouts, the shortened layouts. Again, 7 in total. So there's all sorts of different ways for you to find your way around Aragon. It's a great little track for, again, things like touring cars, some of the lower level open wheelers, just a lot of fun, really a blast to drive.
Yeah, what I think it's really interesting is we went a little bit above and beyond on the layouts of this track because we were watching the different types of racing there, specifically open wheel and touring cars, and the way that they enforce track limits. So we matched that with the touring car layout having these big bales and at the corner apex. You can't cut the corner. It will hurt. Your race will be over. So yeah, but it's those details. You know, Greg Hilt loves the detail work in tracks, and his entire staff, they go above and beyond the crazy amount of detail. And both of the tracks that we released this season showcase that. And there's my segue, Chris, into Willow Springs.
Yes, Willow Springs International Raceway, colloquially known as the Big Willow layout to some of you, 2.5 miles. Now, the coolest thing about this, first of all, Willow Springs is kind of a surprisingly well-known track for what it is. It hasn't hosted a lot of top-tier racing, but it's a pretty beloved track layout. It's got some interesting corners, elevation changes, but we have done so much work in the background just with the rendering, detail work on foliage, things of that nature. The visual experience at Willow Springs is unlike any other track that we've hit. It's set a new standard. A lot of, tracks in the future are going to have the bar raised on them as well. So it's a very pretty track. It's my setting. It's California, so I love it, but it's also a fun track to drive. It is the first place that I took the Ligier, and I got my butt whooped. I was a meme within 30 seconds of pulling out of the pits. But
rolling chicane, were you?
No, because a rolling chicane would need to be rolling. Yes, I was a roadblock.
I think that track is going to be more well received than we initially thought. It's great in the slow to medium powered cars. It really, for the really fast cars, it's maybe a little small. But if you want to go there and the Skippy or the FF1600, the touring cars, GT4s, even the Ligier, it's really well suited for that kind of racing. Ton of history there. Some really cool Red Bull videos there you can find on YouTube. They've done some awesome cinematography. But yeah, check it out. Incredibly cool. Now, the other thing that was important for this build, it's not new content. It's a big update. We have been talking about, for this community, the Dirt Refresh. We have gotten a ton of feedback over the last couple of years on opportunities to improve dirt racing on iRacing, whether it's dirt oval or dirt road. And this has been a big project with the likes of Tyler Hudson and Travis Sullenberger and Steve Reese, vehicle engineer, among many others, but those three really leading the charge. Tyler races, I believe a dirt late model in real life. He has a ton of experience wheeling these cars around, and the result has been pretty well received. Right, Kevin? On the spot?
Absolutely. Put me on the spot because you know me, I'm a dirt racer.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe not, but no, it's certainly been well received. Continue to do some work on it too, right? We've gotten some feedback. They're continuing to work on it, and it's led to some other projects, which I think we'll touch on in our interview. That's coming up. But yeah, awesome job to the whole team that was working on that.
And I think the important thing to note on this is nothing's ever done on iRacing. We're going to continue to develop it. This was a big step. Is dirt racing done and perfect and complete? No. Is any sim in the world done and perfect and complete? No. But this was a focused effort to really move the needle a significant amount, and it seems like it's been fairly well received. We have other stuff. It opened up many other doors of learning, other opportunities, and also, and as Steve is going to talk about in our interview here in a little bit, open up other opportunities for maybe the asphalt oval side of things too. So more to come there. Speaking of which, our guest this week, as we've alluded to, one of the OGs from Papyrus, he's the executive vice president of iRacing. Steve Myers is sat down with Kevin and I, yesterday, 2 days ago?
Something like that.
Recently sat down with us. And so, yeah, without further ado, let's chat with Steve Myers. All right, Kevin and I are back with our guest this week, friend of the show, probably the most used guest on the show, Kevin.
Maybe twice, right?
Is this third time? How many times you been here, Steve?
think it's at least 3 times. We were just talking about how the last one, you guys didn't even have to ask me questions. I just rambled on for.
That is why you're our favorite guest, Steve.
Yeah.
We don't actually have to do anything,
Work-
and we get all the credit.
Work smarter, not harder. We're efficient. That's a good thing. So, Executive Vice President of iRacing, one of the OGs, all the way back since Papyrus, Steve Myers, jumping on the show today. And Steve, let's get into it. We just had a really successful build. A lot going on in iRacing right now. Really just re-upping the quality of the product on coming from multiple areas. And one of those big things that we're pretty proud to put out this build was the dirt refresh.
Yeah, I think I don't think our members truly appreciate the evolution of iRacing over the last few years. I think pre-pandemic, we were a great company. We're a great small company that was putting out a great product. And then post-pandemic, there's so many employees at iRacing now that I have never talked to or met that thinking pre-pandemic, I mean, I interviewed almost every employee that worked at iRacing, and now we're hiring so many people that every week we get hey, please welcome John Brown, and there's so many new people. It's been a wonderful time to watch a software company really flourish, because I think we got to do projects like this dirt refresh and spend the time to make sure that we can update something and have it meet the expectations of our customers. So I think Tyler and Travis and Steve and the guys that all worked on that worked on the World of Outlaws game as well. That they did a terrific job in kind of refreshing that, and from all the things that we learned. I mean, I think again that's the beauty of our product, is that we can put something out and that's not the way it stays, right? Like, we can evaluate and look at data and talk to drivers and make changes through the year. So I think that project was really successful, and it seems so far that our customers agree.
Yeah, it seems like it was very well received. A couple things. We're always looking to improve. I would never say that it's a project's never completed iRacing. It's just this is the latest iteration. We're already talking about what is next, where we can improve. And this project, though, has spurred another project that actually kicked off yesterday on the asphalt oval side.
Yeah, I mean, I think iRacing, having been around now for 15 years, we've been released. I mean, NASCAR was, our first really area of growth and development. I mean, we obviously had a long history with NASCAR with the company itself, but also in the garage. So, with the relationship with Dale Jr. and being able to get access to a lot of data and racetracks and cars early on in iRacing's history, that was obviously the first area that we really explored. And so, now I think we're in a great spot where we can kind of go back and go, all right, look at all of the stuff that we've learned how to do over the last 15 years, whether it be art tech or data that we've learned how to mine from the simulation. All of those things allow us to now go back and say, all right, let's give this a refresh. So I think over the next year or two, you're going to see all of the tracks updated. You're going to see cars updated. So I think there's going to be renewed, refreshing, if you will, of the NASCAR and oval side of the service, which is honestly kind of overdue.
Yeah, we're looking forward to see what lessons learned we can bring over to the oval side. But once again, this is also not just oval centric. We're seeing, the visual updates we saw with the release of Willow Springs, and we've got some new art assets that Greg Hill and his team have a lot of new art tech. Period.
This is how you know we're lifers at this. Like, I've never seen Greg more excited about releasing a track that visually was just dirt. So I mean, that's how you know, like, we're really deep into this, when you get excited about a dirt.
But it's more than just the visual refresh or the physics refresh. It's also just we've done a lot on our side on what are we building next. And it's anybody that's looked at release notes over the last 3-4 build cycles probably has seen a theme in a lot of the tracks that we're doing, specifically on the roadside.
Yeah, and I think again, going back to what I just said, where we started out, where we're very North America centric, with the content that we built, again, the relationships that we had, and, obviously the installed customer base we already had through our previous NASCAR products, Pyrus, made that easy. But I think here now, as we're 15 years down the road, and have a relatively mature product in iRacing, it does allow us to go, okay, how do we use content? How do we use tracks around the world to try to grow the customer bases in those regions? So, we've really tried to look at, some, I don't want to say small tracks, but I mean, more regional tracks that might be more, what we consider like club level tracks here in the US, that there's a lot of activity, as you guys both are club racers, that, there's great communities that form around these racetracks. And, we're really trying to explore, can we use content in iRacing to try to reach those people and bring them into this world? So it's been an interesting process, and kind of see what works, what doesn't. And, I think the great thing about it is the end result is that we're introducing a lot of tracks that maybe haven't been represented in the sim world before. So I think there's some diversity with our road racing, and particularly internationally, for tracks that, people have never even got a chance to, don't even know about. So I think that's kind of a fun aspect of our service, where, we really are a global service, and we can put people, there is no borders, there is no geographic regions. You can race a track from anywhere around the world from where you live. And I think now, with the expansion of what we're trying to do with these European tracks, I think it's just going to make, exploring those different parts of the world and their racetracks not that much easier.
Yeah, it's interesting. You talk about the club level racing, and you and I have been involved in this project that we got to finally announce after God knows how long, 2 or 3 years. We having a partnership now with the FIA, and a lot of what's involved in that is organizing events with their national clubs, who are incredibly excited to see the regional growth, because now they have relevant content that they can use with their nationally organized FIA sanctioned leagues.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, that FIA deal is huge for us, because I think we don't really have a great anchor partner in Europe for a global, or at least a more multi-region perspective. And I think the FIA allows us to really kind of speak directly to these clubs, to these ASN clubs, and then help them kind of build up what they want to do with esports. Again, the beauty of what iRacing is we're a digital product, where, you access our product through our website. So I think it makes it very easy for ASNs and these FIA clubs to, get a large group of people racing at the same time very quickly. And we've really put a lot of programs in place. And if there are, ASNs out there that are interested in trying to explore, some of the things that we're doing with the FIA, they can absolutely reach out to us, because I think we really see that as a great way to kind of grow communities in these European countries, especially, that, we haven't really touched before.
Yeah, we've seen, just massive growth. I had a call this morning with the Australian FIA ASN, or National Club. They are doing some wonderful things. We also have great relationships all across Europe. Motorsport UK is one of the biggest one, but Danish FIA, all the way up in Sweden, their ASN has been very active all over the place, really. And we're just seeing those emails keep coming in, and really looking forward to see how much that grows. But our growth, we've had a lot of European focus on content, but it's not solely European focused. And with the upcoming NASCAR Street Course event, that proof is in the pudding with that whole partnership.
Yeah, that's an exciting one. I think that's been one area, I think in particular, that I've been, I've been doing this for 24 years now. And so, I think when you first start out, you have dreams about, where these things can go and what you can do. And I always dreamed that we could kind of get into this real world space where we're helping to kind of prototype, or even, try to figure out where a race series or a track could go, and what changes can be made. So I think a lot of these track building projects that we've done, like the LA Coliseum, the Atlanta Super Speedway, We're helping on the Texas project right now, which probably people don't know. We're working. We worked on the Chicago street circuit. That was a really cool experience for Greg and I. We kind of worked on that for quite a while, with Ben coming to us and saying, "Hey, we want to explore this idea. Can you guys do it?" And we were like, "Sure, yeah, we can do it." So I think obviously there's a little bit of nerves, like a big race like this, the first ever street course for NASCAR. I think you get a little nervous about how it could go. One wrong move and you could have a very expensive fender bender. But I think just the talent of those drivers, and I think just watching some of the hurdles NASCAR has put them through over these first 2 years of the car here. I think the car itself, I mean, you guys watch V8 supercars too. So, I mean, like, it's possible, right? Like, to run these cars, wheel to wheel and put on a good show. So I feel very confident that the drivers are going to be able to do it. And I think it's a great, it's a great experience for NASCAR to be able to take what they do at these, purpose-built tracks and now bring them into these areas where people might not have ever seen this stuff before. So I'm really excited to see, the event will be one thing, like the race is going to be one thing, but I think everything that happens around it and potentially pulling in new fans and from the Chicago area and the region, I think that's going to be the most exciting part for the community and industry is this going to help grow the sport of racing?
It's funny. Leslie and I were in Chicago visiting some friends a few months ago, and we went down there and we walked the course along the sidewalks, and was interesting to see they were already doing some asphalt patching and things like that, preparing a surface, because I mean, you saw it when we first took the scan, it was a little rough.
Yeah, I think we scanned the track. I think it was in December or January. I can't remember when it was, but I was like literally like the day after we received the data. I think my first phone call to Ben was like, "They're going to pave this place, right?" We've never. I mean, even North Wilkesboro, in the state of disrepair that it was in, was smooth compared to what the Chicago street course was.
There were some pretty big craters you could stick your whole foot in, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you, though. I saw the video. I forget who the driver was. They did the demo there with the next-gen car, fired it up. You see the windows reverberating on the buildings. And I'm just kind of curious what's going to happen when there's 40 Cup cars that get fired up.
It's interesting. There's a lot of companies that are selling or renting out their offices in downtown Chicago, their spaces, just for people to have viewing parties. So yeah, it should be interesting.
Now, looking forward to that. But so pivoting, Kevin's going to look at me funny because I said pivoting again.
Yeah, you're not allowed to say that word, but okay. We'll bleep it out.
we have a lot more going on though outside of iRacing, but kind of under our umbrella with our console offerings and Arantes as well, which we really haven't. We've kind of spoken about, but we haven't really done the deep dive on that. And so Steve's the guy that usually draws the line and says this is what you can say and this is what you can't say. But now he's on the spot to see how close he can get without leaking anything.
Well, and that's again, going back to the growth of iRacing and the number of employees that we have, I think, we're not just sitting on our hands. We bought two, game studios, obviously Monster, which is a well-established studio that we've had a history with. I mean, Rich Garcia was a Papyrus employee. So we've known those guys for a long, long time. And I think, I think the World of Outlaws game, I think it did exactly what I hoped it would do. I mean, I think that product it was already pretty far down the road development wise. And I think in the amount of time that we had to really kind of influence or help to improve the product with them, I'm really, really so thrilled with what we did. I think the physics is so fun, and nothing gives me more joy than watching, going to some of the Facebook forums and stuff that for the game and seeing not only are there still players that have been here since last fall that are playing the game, but that they're actively recruiting and endorsing the game to others to try to, letting them understand that this is literally the best dirt racing game that's been made. So like, there's no question, if you like dirt, you should have had this game already. So I think that was a great, first dipping our toe in the water. And I think we're excited to have this 2023 update in development. Actually, I was just playing a little bit right now. After this meeting, we have our monster call for the week. But I was just playing the Switch version of it, and it's functioning. And we're excited to get that out this year. Obviously, the update's going to go out to the Xbox and PlayStation as well for purchase for a 2023 update. And that's on track. I think, we'll here in the next few weeks, we'll have some more information to release, but, that's on track for this fall. The Aranta studio, I think is exciting as well. I mean, I think, that is more of a project. That studio started out as basically two brothers, Christian and Thorsten Folkers, and their own, engine, game engine. And, it's been a little bit slow because we've been building a team around that, but I'm really excited. We're up to about 7 people on that team. We're currently right now porting the product that they had in existence already, which was what essentially they had up as a pre-release on Steam, which was not really feature complete. It's in a lot of ways it was a tech demo for them to try to find a company that comes in to buy them or to partner with them to help them complete the game and to make future games. And that's what we did. I mean, I'm super excited that like we're taking this existing product and finishing it and porting it to the consoles. And it's a great exercise for that team specifically because they've never shipped a console game. So they've never gone through the process of submitting builds to Sony and Microsoft and the bug process and everything that happens with that. It's all this is all a great experience for them, and hopefully we've rebranded the game we're calling it Exocross now, and we're adding another environment, we're adding another car, we're making features. We ported over the AI from iRacing into the product. We're just about to start some sound work on it. It's really taking shape. It's great. It's already running. I've been running it on the Xbox. That's already on the PlayStation and Xbox. And our hope is to have that
only there for developers, by the way.
Right? Only for developers, correct? Sorry, I have dev kits.
Yeah.
And sadly, you guys don't have dev kits, so you can't even play either. So
no. But it is worth adding that we did just update our iRacing.com and added a section /Arantis games, and there's updates there on what's happening with Drag and Exocross. You can sign up to get specific information or emails, things like that. I don't want to give this a sales pitch, but if you're interested in that game, that's the place to go to find more information since we don't have Steve on every week.
Yeah, and I think our goal is a fourth quarter release for that. It'll be digital only, but it could slip into the first quarter again with a new studio and kind of trying to bring in new capabilities and trying to do a project that they've never done before. There's a lot of unknowns there still, so I think but the good news is it's a really fun game. Like even the changes that we've made, again, this is going to be like a recurring theme. If you ask me about our products and particularly our console products, is the first thing and the only thing that I care about from a game perspective is it fun to drive? Like we're a racing game company. So the first thing that I think these products have to be is fun to drive. And I can assure you already that even the changes we've made from Drag to Exocross, it's already more fun to drive than even the Drag product. So that's obviously an area that we start with first. But again, the beauty of a console game is that it allows us to explore some new areas that we've never even been for. I mean, this is a futuristic other world racing game. Like, I mean, who would have thought that iRacing had any affiliation with a product that would do that? But again, from us, from a team, we've always had a lot of ideas of what we would do for more mass market games. And I think these console games allow us to add some things to products that we've always wanted to do, that we've always thought could be good in a mass market game that didn't really ever fit with an iRacing product. So, there's so much we can do in this console space. We're only really scratching the surface. And honestly, the game that we're designing for the next product after Exocross, it's the most excited I've ever been about a console game ever. So I feel like in a lot of ways, that game is what I was put in this place for, and in this job for the last 25 years for. So I could not be more excited about the direction we're going with all of our products, iRacing and the console, the two console studios. And I think, again, going back to our theme of this is 15 years, like sitting here 15 years later after we launched iRacing, where you're like, is this thing going to work? Is there going to be people that want this thing? To now we're talking about, essentially 5 different products that are going to come out over the next 2 years. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's a wild time to be here. Great time to join iRacing a few years ago. Thanks for bringing me on board, guys. Appreciate it. Not mad about it. But yeah, so you touched on it, and this will be kind of a theme of the podcast, even though we're recording this before we recorded the podcast, because we needed to see how long Steve would talk, if we're completely honest. So this summer, 15th anniversary of iRacing, there's been a lot that's gone on. Steve, you've got to have some stories. This is a chance to totally roast anybody you feel necessary. Kevin's a great example. On the spot.
You didn't let me prep for this. Like, I'm trying to think if I have any good stories.
It's in honestly, the email.
What's that?
It was in the email.
Yeah, no, I skim your emails.
That's better than the ones I send. He doesn't even skim mine. So all good.
It's funny. I think it was hard. It was hard to get here. I look back on, I think that's what the best thing I could say is that I could look back on the last, this really started in 2003. You look back on these 20 years and it feels like it was that, like, it feels like it went so fast. It feels like just yesterday that, there was like 6 of us in our first office. Kevin, I think you remember. It was like Turnpike office.
I do.
I remember like Greg Hill basically built like everyone's first computer. Like, I think we still have those original computer cases somewhere in the office, but I just remember it like sitting on this completely bare floor in this office where there's no furniture, and we have like 10 PC cases all lined up on the floor, and we're, Greg's methodically going through and putting components in each one of those computers as we're kind of building the first set of computers that wrote code for iRacing. And I think we did everything back then, IT, networking, everything. Like, there wasn't any luxuries, and I think now you look at, we have this beautiful, 20,000 square foot office, with a huge broadcast room and, multiple studios and 250 employees. And it kind of blows your mind to think we've come this far. And honestly, like, I don't know of many studios that can say that they've been in existence as long as we have and doing the same product that they've been doing as long as we have. And, nobody leaves iRacing. Almost every employee that was here day one, I think every employee that was here day one is still part of iRacing. I think that's a testament to the culture that John and Dave and Tony and the management team has put in place of, creating an atmosphere where people want to come to work and, and rewarding people for success and, encouraging people to follow their passion and what they think is, a right decision in a product. And, I think we're here because we made a lot of right decisions, but certainly we made some bad ones too. I think iRacing 2.0, there's a bad decision. But I think you have to make mistakes, right? Like, if you don't make mistakes, you don't figure out the better way to do things. And I think I'm really thrilled and proud of what we've done. And I know you wanted a funny story, but I think this is more just a proud story of what we've built, and more importantly, the community that we've built. I think we've established a great relationship with our community. We try to listen to them. We try to give them what they want, and in return, I think they appreciate that, and they keep being a member and buying content and allowing us to keep doing this. So I think it's we really, really are lucky. I'm very lucky, and I appreciate every day I have here.
Yeah, we've come a long way. I mean, I remember when I first started, and you'd be on a plane trying to give the elevator pitch of what iRacing is or was going to be, and it took 30 minutes to try to explain what we were doing, and people are like, "Oh, okay." And now you get on a plane and sit next to somebody, and they're like, "Oh, you work for iRacing? That's kind of cool."
Yeah.
That we've come a long way. Come a long way. So.
No, it's I obviously have not been here as long as you two. I think I just celebrated my fourth anniversary here, but it's been an adventure for the last 4 years, that's for sure. Granted, we've had some interesting variables thrown into that period of time, but I've had the opportunity to do some stuff that I never thought. Steve calling me on a Monday says, "Hey, you're going to be running a broadcast on NBC with during the pandemic on Saturday." I had no idea what I was doing. That was interesting, but we made it work, and we're better off for it. So it's been a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the next 4 in the next 10 years. But yeah, good times. Well, Steve, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. We're going to bring you back whether you like it or not.
All right, sounds good. Always fun to chat, and keep up the good work. The podcast has made some strides. It was a little rocky at first, but now you guys seem to be hitting your stride.
It only took 50 episodes.
All
right. And
thanks,
with that,
Steve.
We'll get back to the show.
Guys.
Always great to sit down with Steve. Kevin, he might be the most frequent guest we've had on the show. Is that
probably
three times? That's ironic.
Yeah.
I really think that's ironic that he is the person that's been on the most. But always great insight. And once again, we touched on it during the interview. This is the 15th anniversary of iRacing this summer. And Kevin, you've been around since before iRacing was even a product.
That is true. I'm old. I've been here for a while. So
You said it.
What can I say? Yeah, we've come a long way. It's been a privilege to be here since we were in early development and then through launch, and see how far we've come. And we were talking about different stories and things, and back in probably 2009 or so, we had a mobile marketing trailer we were bringing around to racetracks and events to try to get the word out. What is iRacing, right? Because nobody had heard of it. What was it? And we were at Martinsville, pouring down rain, before the race. And this was back when Speed Channel was still around, or Speed Vision. I guess it was Speed Channel at that point. And they did like a pre-race show. So I took one of our flags off of the trailer, and I was walking through the audience trying to get just a little TV time to get our logo on TV, which I did for about 30 seconds. And then, think 2020, we were actually the main deal on TV, right? I mean, what a change, right? We were running, we've talked about it a lot, but we were doing, full NASCAR races on Big Fox, right? That was a huge change. We've come so far. Continue to be groundbreaking on projects like that, working with NASCAR, other partners, Porsche, BMW, whoever it is, doing things innovatively and just continuing to try to push and get better. So it's really been fun. If you asked me 17, 18 years ago, would I still be here? I wouldn't have known how to answer that. When I started, we literally didn't have a product, and we were just trying to figure out how to get it to a place where we could launch. And it sounded like, hey, that's cool. I'll give that a shot. But here we are, and I think we've got a pretty great product and a pretty great team now.
A growing team.
And it really is wild to see how far it's come. I mean, Greg, you and I got hired within a week of each other in 2019, but I had some history going back too. Back in the day, I started my career out at Bleacher Report, and some editor assigned me to rank the top 15 NASCAR video games of all time. And I put iRacing at number one with the caveat that it wasn't a video game, it was a simulation. And if you remember back in the iRacing news days and David Phillips really loved that I had bought into the marketing message unintentionally, because I ended up writing for iRacing news for a couple of years after that. And then it kind of came full circle when the Rallycross project started happening in 2017. I was the guy who made sure that my former employers, who shall remain nameless, actually signed the licensing deal, because I reminded them we're gonna lose it if you don't. So I guess all of that laid the groundwork for me to be here, and it's been an absolute blast to be here.
I think it's the thing that stands out the most for me, and once again, Chris and I've only been here 4 years of the 15 years of iRacing, but the way in which we talk, and the way in which discussions start, whether it's with cars or tracks or with the organizing bodies that put on these events, it's collaborative. They're coming to us and, hey, what can we do? How can we grow? How can we work with iRacing and leverage the brand and grow both in concert with each other, rather than, oh, well, you can license our car. And that's really cool. And we've seen some, awesome collaborations. The one that sticks out immediately off my head, the BMW M4 GT3. Right? We had that. We were in the middle of development of that car. It hadn't even seen the light of day. And we were working with their engineers to, while they were still tweaking on the car. I think we released it as a prototype, right? Or whatever the
we released it before they were even done with it. It was kind of what they had built. It was more than a test mule, but they had a working car that they could test, and we built that, and then we'd then updated it once they finalized things. So that I don't think that had ever been done.
And then you look at our relationship with NASCAR. I mean, we're updating those cars in concert, not just visually, but the physics, the bones underneath, in basically real time, with the way they update the rules and the packages and things like that. We have the World Championship winning Formula One car on the service, the Mercedes W12. I mean, what an opportunity to work with those guys. We sat down with James Voles, biggest podcast we've ever done. Also, super nice guy, really nice guy, full of energy and information. Doing a great job at Williams F1, by the way, right now. But it's been really cool to, even in the last 4 years, see the growth. I was talking with Otto yesterday in the Chili Bowl, also known as the kitchen at iRacing, and it's just reminiscing on cool stuff and cool projects. It's been a lot of fun. All right, memory lane is closed. We're moving on to esports. Let's talk about the Tag Heuer Porsche Esports Super Cup. Kevin, we have a champion.
We do, Chris. This is supposed to go to Chris. He's got the notes.
You're the Porsche guy, but no. It's okay. Jordan Caruso, Altus Esports, had a fantastic year in the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup. Just consistency. That's what wins you a championship in that series. I mean, if you remember last year, Diogo Pinto, I believe, only won one race out of the 20 combined sprints and features across the board, but just stacked so many top 5, top 10 finishes, avoiding good finishes, trouble.
And yes, not doing things that get you taken out, playing it smart. That's the way you win a championship. Yeah.
And that's exactly. And that's exactly what Jordan Caruso did. Came out of the gate hot. I believe he won the first Tag Heuer Pole Award of the season in the opener, and just never looked back from there. And some years you have that. The bigger question is obviously always, can you do it again? Some of the past champions that were back this year, Sebastian Job, again, Diogo Pinto, had a couple of roadblocks along the way that set them back a little bit. Still put on some amazing performances, still were up front and winning some races. We had a lot of new winners this year, but again, it's a consistency series, and Jordan Caruso did that head and shoulders above everybody else this year.
And now he gets a fat paycheck to celebrate with. So
absolutely.
I believe that the Porsche series got over $200,000, and let's talk about a series that has over $300,000 in prize money. eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series just had the second closest finish in eNASCAR history. I knew that, but it helped that Cisco or Drew, whoever hit the button, put the graphic up at the exact same time as I was talking about it, so I could read it.
Definitely. I'm assuming that I'm taking that one, but Jordi Lopez.
Yes, you are.
Team Dillon Esports has had an amazing start to the season. Tucker Minter comes out, wins his first ever eNASCAR start at Daytona. There's only a couple of other guys who have ever done that, and one of them is named Dale Earnhardt Jr., so not bad company to be
Who's
in.
he?
Some guy, right? Doesn't hold an executive position with us or anything, but I digress. Tucker goes back out in Charlotte. Now, Jordy Lopez has been up front all season. He's been leading a lot of laps. You know, both Jordy and Tucker have really been carrying the torch among some of the rookies. Jordy gets out there at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. There's only a couple of laps left. We have everybody on different tire strategies. Garrett Maines, I believe, didn't take any tires. Jordy's on 2. A lot of the field is on 4. And you're coming down to the white flag. You know that the race is going to end on the next flag, and they're just battling for the win. Unfortunately, especially for Garrett Maines, there's contact, and Garrett goes spinning. That sets up the battle between the rookie and the legend in Michael Conti at Junior Motorsports. And they're leaning on each other down the front straightaway. Shades of Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch at Darlington. But in the end, it's the rookie who gets, I believe it was 0.004 seconds ahead on the line, and should have his playoff ticket punched with that victory, because I think he's pretty securely in the top 20 in points.
A lot of controversy there. We were talking about it earlier, and I'm not a steward and I'm not representing the stewards, but from my point of view on the couch, that was some good racing. I enjoyed it and I was entertained. And a lot of people have a lot of opinions, but yeah, like they said in Gladiator, are you entertained? Yes, I was. So that was fun. We also have more championships coming up, and Chris, just keep throwing it back to you, but this one is in your sweet spot with the off-road dirt stuff. If you are new to the show, Chris kind of likes dirt. I might be putting it. Is that overselling it, Kevin?
I don't know where you get that impression.
Is he a dirt guy? I hadn't heard that. But...
Oh, okay.
I guess he is. Yeah.
No, there's not, Connor Berry's defending iRacing Off-Road Championship Series truck over my shoulder or anything. No. Where would you get that impression? Anyhow, yes, since I have named the series, iRacing Off-Road Championship Series comes back on Wednesdays starting June 28th. We start a little bit later this year, and we're running until about the end of August. 19 returning drivers out of 24 from last year, so a lot of people who are closely matched. We've talked about the dirt refresh. That is going to reshape some things because these guys are quite a bit faster right now, but Connor Berry's back going for another one. Keaton Swain is back to challenge him. Again, only a handful of rookies. Parker Retzlaff highlights the rookie class, former eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series driver and a current NASCAR Xfinity Series driver. So cool to see some crossing over. Parker was in our All-Star races last year for a little bit. All-Stars are coming back too. There's going to be a really exciting grid for that. Trying to get some Supercross riders in there, trying to diversify it up a little bit. But a lot of your favorite streamers are going to be back. A lot of your favorite crossover drivers from other pro series are going to be back. It's going to be really cool. And I'm sure I will go out there and get my butt whooped for a few races too.
Looking forward to seeing that part specifically.
Yeah, I'll wear the Ricky Bobby suit and do it from the motion rig again. It'll be a blast.
Do. Or you could wear that shirt that you're wearing now. That might do it. So.
No, I got to wear the Ricky Bobby suit if I'm doing anything. Right? In the cockpit. Come on.
Well, I'm looking at the calendar or the clock here, and I know Kevin's got to go in a couple of minutes, but exciting stuff on iRacing. Big release. We have another huge one coming in September. A lot of good content coming out. Pretty diverse lineup of content coming out. Cars and tracks. Yeah, I said cars plural. Don't at me. Kevin's already nervous.
Kevin, you have one more thing to mention, though, don't you?
Oh yeah, Kevin's got one more thing to mention.
The program we're doing with Racing Prodigy. If you guys haven't seen it, we've done some stories on it. There'll be some social. The Time Attack qualifier kicks off next week in the Toyota GR86. But it's a cool program that's designed to get sim racers into real cars. And I know you guys have all heard about programs like this in the past. This one's a bit different. It's got way more potential. I think you should check it out. Check out their site, Racing Prodigy, I think .gg. Maybe it's on screen. I can't see. Or .com, I guess. But check it out. It's easy to get into. You register on their site. You do a time attack. You try to get one of the fastest times. It's really worth checking out if you have any interest in ever getting in a real world race car.
Yeah, the opportunity to hop in, radical SR1s. Those things scream. So it'll be a lot of fun. We didn't talk about our fans, by the way. Fan counter. I think we're up to 5.
5. Awesome.
Yeah, judging by responses on Twitter,
Ding,
I think
ding,
we have
ding,
5
ding,
fans now.
ding.
I don't know whether us being on camera is going to move the needle up or down.
Yeah, if we go down to
Hopefully
3, then
down,
It
because
could
I
go
can't
down
count
to
that
3.
high. Yeah, I can't count that high, so hopefully it goes down. I'm
Thanks
kidding.
for listening. Thanks for listening and watching. Maybe the iRacing Downshift. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else Chris has put this thing. For Kevin Bobbitt and Chris Leone, I am Greg West, and we'll see you on the Ringmeister in Season 3.